You're either doing a gig or you're not, and it sounds rubbish to me, and I don't want to do anything that's rubbish.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Breaking Bread. We are mega excited to be here, bringing you some new episodes, finally.
Yeah, we're back, baby. Can't wait.
We're your hosts, I'm Liam, this is Carl.
Yep, this is Carl.
We're just two best mates really obsessed with food, like stupidly obsessed with food.
Yeah, put it politely.
And we absolutely love Birmingham, and we think Birmingham and her food scene is just a really special place. So we started this podcast to bring you interviews with those special people who make this industry so amazing.
Yeah.
And just generally talk about food.
Yeah.
So
should work in there and the surrounding area.
Welcome to the show. Oh yeah, and the surrounding area.
Yeah. Birmingham now.
There's a bit of Solihull.
Yeah.
Seeing as we've both ditched Birmingham for Solihull.
Since we both left Birmingham to live in Solihull.
But you know, I thought we'd make that little introduction, seeing as we're 2.5 years in.
yeah, might as well. It's about time we had one.
Should have done that from season 1.
Better than that cheesy shit we did. That still makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Liam. Hi, I'm Carl. Welcome to the podcast.
Gotta work your way in. So it's nice. We're in a nice beer garden. It's sunny.
Mate, nice beer garden. Stop raining. Sun's out. Just had some badass fish and chips.
We sure did.
Got a mad goose on the go. A beer for anyone that is worried that I'm killed a goose.
Fornicating with a mad goose.
Yeah, after some foie gras.
So after this kind of bleakest of January, February and March, suddenly April the 12th, everything bang, straight back open.
And, mate, it's been great to see the amount of effort people have gone to get people back. Loads of places are just running at a loss now, just to be open.
Just to be
good
open.
to see.
Just because they
It's not good to see them making a loss, but it's good to see them just back.
Yeah, they just wanted to be back. Made the best of it. Obviously, went straight to our favourite pub.
Yeah.
Covered
Night,
wagon.
back to the covered wagon.
Froze to death.
Yeah, it was before they installed the heaters.
Yeah, they got heaters now.
Yeah, we were cold.
To be honest, I didn't care. I just wanted that mixed grill and that curry.
Yeah, it soon warmed me up inside.
I loved it. I loved how in the car you were like, I'm not going to order too much tonight. I'm just going to go Swan. And I was like, so you're not ordering a little dippy curry? And you were like, yeah, I'm going to have to order a bit of dippy curry. And I was like, I'm not going to order a naan bread. Yeah, I'll probably order a naan bread.
I wasn't going to have one, but that onion culture there is probably my favourite naan bread.
We ended up ordering exactly what we always order. We didn't even look at the menu.
I don't think I've ever ordered anything different. The curry's the only thing that changes. I could just have a different curry.
Yeah, so what day that was, April the 12th, and we were invited down to Luna, which is it's hard to explain. You have to listen to this episode, which is all about Luna. Welcome to Birmingham, but it's hard to kind of pinhole what it actually is. It's a giant arena in Digbeth,
All open air.
It's like an ultimate beer garden, really, isn't it? Like it's
just
lights,
100% outside.
live
so
music.
Inside, it's not for you. But if you want to go to outside, if it's a nice summer, and we're due a nice summer this year, apparently. There's a lot of tables.
It's vast. That's all I can describe it as. It's huge.
Yeah.
And they're going to have outdoor cinema. You'll hear about all of this.
There's going to be loads coming in. It's exciting. I think it'll be alright.
Yeah. But how refreshing was it just to sit in the sun?
Oh, mate, it's outside.
It was cold still.
It's a nice chill outside.
It was the best feeling ever.
Yeah, I've got a nice beer on the go now.
Yeah. Where are we?
Well, it doesn't pay me to say because everyone knows our obsession. Little Blackwood is closed for reasons we won't go into because this is a positive podcast.
Yeah, so if you thought our obsession with Little Blackwood would come to an end with Little Blackwood, as with what the whole point of this kind of podcast is it's the people that make the restaurant special, not so much the building. So although Ben and Sophia unfortunately had to let Little Blackwood go in Moseley, they've moved on to bigger, better things.
Mate, we're at the Bull's Head in Barston, not far from Solihull Town Centre, down the road from the airport, sitting in a massive beautiful beer garden. It's sunny. There's a lovely van that they're selling fish and chips from. There's an amazing restaurant.
You make it sound like an old clapped out old like transit or escort van.
It's a beautiful Airstream van. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's a van. There's a beautiful outdoor restaurant with barbecue. There's an outdoor bar, an indoor bar. To be honest, there's no one to talk about too much. We are going to do a podcast on this place. But our obsession with Ben and Soph is just moved location.
They're our friends, like they're they're just good friends of ours.
And generally, this place is fantastic. And the ideas they've got, which will go over when we do the podcast with them,
massive
this place
potential.
Is brilliant. Yeah, this place could be the best pub in the Midlands.
Massive potential.
Yeah, definitely. But they've got 2 barbecues. They've got a Komodo Dragon barbecue, outdoor pizza oven, fryers, and that's all just outside.
Komodo Dragon pizza. Oh,
you know they're like the big green eggs. There's 2 brands in there. There's the Komodo and the big green egg.
Oh, right.
They're essentially the same thing.
Good to know.
Just in case anyone was wondering.
So, as for what's happening soon, obviously pubs are opening properly and restaurants are open properly. Ones who haven't got beer gardens can finally open too. What date was that? 17th?
17th, yeah. A couple of weeks from now, everything will be hopefully back to normal.
Touch wood.
For us, anyway.
Touch wood. Yeah, there's so many places we want to get to. Can't wait.
It's going to be a great season. Season. We're going to have that fucking debate again, ain't we?
Season 3.
Series 3.
This is kind of like the start of season 3, but we're thinking now we might do these special episodes on the side where it's like a welcome to Birmingham episodes. For like
yes, this Luna one's
opening.
This is like a bonus episode.
Yeah, just to get us ease us nicely into season 3.
And it's more an episode, not so much on the place, more on just what's it like as a business.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. We focus a lot on the pandemic and how they go through and what they cope with. And
yeah, so this episode is with Tom, who's the founder of Adventure Bars, which is the group who owns Luna Spring. They're still in it. Like, it's weird, isn't it? Because although they're a group of businesses, it's still essentially independent. You know,
it's just 3 mates. Who got together.
It's not a chain. Yeah.
Got lucky, opened a few places, it worked out well.
Didn't get lucky. I don't like that.
Mate, any
that's
any
a write-off,
business that does well has had luck. You
It's a
can
tiny
work
bit of
hard. Yeah, you can work really hard, but you still need luck. Like being a great footballer, you can be a great footballer and work every hour under the sun. But you need some luck. Like an actor as well.
I feel
You
like
can be
it's
the best
a bit
actor on the planet,
dismissive.
but you need a bit of luck at the end of the
It's
day.
like when people say, "Oh, it's okay because he had all the natural talent in the world." But that's dismissive.
I think that everything that works out well, you need a bit of luck to happen.
This is getting very
Definitely.
deep for an intro. Either way, yeah.
Yeah, it's an intro. We're doing another podcast on luck.
So yeah, we really enjoyed sitting down with Tom. Great conversation all about how he got started off down in London, what brought him up to Digbeth.
Oh, spoilers.
It's interesting though to know what people outside Birmingham think of like places like Digbeth, because you know we love them. We talk about them all the time. It's nice to hear what he thinks. You know,
it's nice. Get a different perspective.
Obviously, massive thank you to Joe from the relationship for starting this up for us again. We're not sponsored by the relationship or her PR company or anything like that. It's basically we've developed a good friendship with her, and
We just like her.
she puts good things our way. And
She happens to be in the right place at the right time for most of the good stuff that's opening. So
she gets good clients, and I feel like she genuinely cares about clients.
Yeah,
and
she
she does
does.
a great job.
you can really tell.
So massive thank you to Joe again for that. We recorded this episode outside at the Luna, so it was a little bit noisy, but we were kind of stuck in between a couple of doors, so like there was a few times people walked in and out. I've done my best to try and get rid of that, but you might notice a few bits and pieces, but I feel like it's still
Adds to the atmosphere of the whole thing.
yeah, it's not perfect, but never has been.
No.
And we're easing our way back into it, so you'll have to let us get used to it. I mean, sitting down to talk to strangers again was
Well,
quite an
I've
experience.
said I've got no problem admitting it. I've had trying to get back into sort of socialising and saying to people, I'm struggling with it.
Yeah, do you know what? And you messaged me about that like last week, and it took me by surprise a bit, because I feel like out of the two of us, you've always been the sociable one, like you're like party Carl, you know.
I'm good at putting on like a front, I think, a lot of the time. But in my head, I'm just going, God, I just feel awkward. And I don't know why, because I didn't used to.
I'd always class myself as the kind of like introvert who has to try and act extroverted, and then so when you said that, I was like, oh man, that hit me in the heart. That did.
Hey, I don't know. It's not a feeling I'm used to.
There's probably a lot of people going through that, and it's
well,
important.
that's what I thought. I thought there must be loads of people going through something like this, where they're struggling to sort of get back to speaking to people that they haven't spoke to for a year.
And I think like that comes back to how important hospitality and pubs and restaurants are, so you can get back out with your mates and family. And
so just a big ask for people to be patient.
Not
with us much, but with other people, because people are getting used to being with other people again.
With everyone, the staff as well in these places who are getting used to working again for the first time, and they might be having a little anxiety about speaking to strangers and all of a sudden that's their job.
Bar managers, waiters, cleaners, these people haven't worked for a year.
No, everyone's got to get used to it all again, which is strange.
It's going to take some time, but everyone will get back to normal hopefully.
Or even create something better.
Exactly.
More compassionate, like, I don't know.
It might make you like rethink a few things. You might come out a bit better at the end. You never know, do you? So let's hope.
Yeah, so this is our episode with Tom, founder of Adventure Bars, and we're really glad to be back doing this for you. We can't tell you how happy this makes us, and we hope you enjoy it. I'd like to kind of just get into it, really. So,
Yeah.
Tom, welcome to Breaking Bread. How's things?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Cool. We were at your opening of your brand new venue, but we've come somewhere a little bit quieter.
A bit warmer as well, presumably.
Just a touch.
Yeah. Trust you to open something in the middle of what's supposed to be spring, and it feels like winter.
I woke up this morning and I opened the blinds, and I live in London, and I've opened the blinds, and I've said to my son, it's snowing. He was like, aren't you opening a bar today? I was like, yes, it's snowing and I'm opening an outdoor bar. What could go wrong?
Snowing in April, it's ridiculous.
I've never heard of it before. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
No, I ain't.
So people listening might not know about your the Adventure Bar group. Is Josephine opened yet? Or?
No, so Tonight Josephine is like a 3-year project we've been working on. We've always, so we're, as a business, we're kind of 16 years old, and we've kind of thought about moving out of London for quite a while. Birmingham felt to us for a number of reasons like the obvious move. And so we've been looking in Birmingham for a long time, and about 3 years ago we saw the site down on Stevenson Street, when we were kind of bidding on it and all sorts of stuff like that, and then that got delayed, and then lockdown happened, and we were ready on the 5th of December. We got it all ready, and Birmingham was, I think it was in tier 1, or was it tier 2? I can't even remember. I think it was tier 1. Yeah. And we were ready for the 5th of December, assuming that we'd be able to trade it, and then we got it shut. And like the bar there has had dehydrated fruit in the fridge ready to go, since the 5th of December. I will replace it, obviously, before we open. But yeah, I mean, it's like fully stocked. The back bar's ready, the glassware's ready, the first set is ready, everything's ready. We've had people moved up from London to help kind of train, and they've been up there, and they're actually helping us over in Luna, because why not? And this opportunity came up we came up to look at the space and some of the areas around here, because we'd heard a lot about Digbeth, and we knew there was quite a kind of like a not burgeoning scene, but like a scene that was kind of had a real good reputation, and makes sense to kind of have multiple things in the same area. It's just much easier to run. So we came up and had a look at a few of the other areas around sort of the custard factory and stuff like that, and the landlord showed us this space, and they showed us these arches, and I was like, oh my god, these arches are incredible. Can we do something around these arches? And they're like, oh yeah, well we'd like to activate all those later on. I was like, well, this is incredible. Can I have on top of it? Well, maybe we've got all these plans, we've got this stuff going on in this car park. I said, okay, well, keep me in mind. So we went away, and they had these plans, and for whatever reason those plans I think fell out of bed, and I was up in Digbeth again. I think it was like the 3rd of December. I came up to set all the lights up for Tonight Josephine, and Jo rang me up and she said, oh, do you want to come have a look? With this, the arena's in play. And I was like, I'm down the road, I can be there in half an hour. so I kind of came down. She said, look, do you want to like get involved and look at this? And I was like, this is amazing. I could do this. We could put, we could do stuff in the arches, and we could activate this and this and this, and that was kind of, I guess that would have been 3rd of December or something like that, and we started talking about it. We thought we initially were going to open May, maybe June, with various things in our pipeline, or stuff we were working on. And then when the roadmap got announced, and we realised outdoor spaces were going to be front and centre for like the early stuff, I was like, come on, right lads, we could really get something big happening really quickly. But that was only 5 weeks ago, or I think we started on site 5 weeks ago, and it was just a car park. So the guys have been, my business partner Brian, he's been on site for 5 weeks, just day after day, just banging out. You saw the shipping containers that we've turned into the bar, this gigantic pergola which is the size of like three 7-a-side football pitches almost, and it's just gigantic. The scale of it's 15,000 square foot. Without restrictions, we could do 2,500 people could be in there.
Was there a part of you that was a little intimidated by the size, or did you just think, fuck it, just say we'll take the space and we'll make it work, like this could be cool?
Both of what you've just described were very real things. The biggest site I've done to date was initially 4.5, maybe 5,000 square foot. It's now probably 7,000 square foot. Wow. And which is our rooftop bar in Waterloo, which is this absolutely brilliant, but also very simple space. It's roof, simple framework. You let the kind of the space do the talking, so to speak, and you just try and deliver good service, good drinks, good food. Nothing too high end, nothing too complicated. Keep the offering quite simple so that people can just let their good night out, like do the work really, and just kind of facilitate these really engaging nights out. So I was sitting there thinking, because of the scale, we need to do something like that. We need to keep it really simple. And because the space is so big, I was sat there going, we've been shut for a year. We're a business that's privately funded. It's me and my two partners. We set it up 16 years ago, like I said, and we set it up 15 grand each. It's not like we're bankrolled by private equity or anything like that. So,
which was your first bar? Sorry, was it the Adventure Bar itself?
Yeah, it was the Battersea Rise Adventure Bar, which when we bought it had a capacity of about 75 people. And so we've kind of just like zigzagged up and around. And I was 23 when we did it, so I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. I was just a bartender who kept getting sacked, and so I wanted a job I could get sacked from, basically. So we've just kind of recycled cash and borrowed a bit and paid back, and all of that sort of stuff. And so we've been shut for a year. We've burnt through an extraordinary amount of money. I know everyone is aware of the challenges around having, when you're paying rent and you're not trading and all that sort of stuff. And it's just remarkable levels of cash burn. But I was like, we've got to open this site. And a site like that, when you look at a site of that scale, you could spend £1 million on that quite easily without making much of an impression. I said to the guys, we need to do it for a quarter of that, because that's basically what we can get our hands on in order to, to get it trading. And also I kind of felt like opening now, the customer base everywhere would be fairly sympathetic to the cause. Everyone understands the challenges that hospitality have been under. Everyone understands that you've got to hustle a bit to kind of get it happening. And frankly, everyone just wants to have a beer with their mates, So I thought, well, let's, we called our phase 1 as this bootstrap beer garden. So it's like, I wrote a list in the office with the lads, because it was like, oh, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And I just wrote the list, and I was like, what do we need? We need tunes, we need beer, cocktails, we need chairs, we need food, and we need toilets. Oh, and we need seats, right? There's these 6 things just there on the board. And I said, if we can put ticks next to that, we'll be all right. And if we can get as many of all of those things as humanly possible by, the 12th of April, then we're in business. And that's been it. And we kind of worked towards that 6-point list. And then it's like, okay, well, what are we known for in London? At home, what are we known for? We're known for doing these really nice events, these really engaging events that people love. We're known for vertical drinking, which is difficult at the moment, but people having great nights out and parties and Christmases and birthdays and all that sort of stuff. But more recently, since last July, we pivoted towards this more event-driven model. And the great thing about that space in Digbeth that we're here at is that you have a huge capacity to do great events. And so, yeah, that's very much been like, okay, so get open, get trading, tick, tick, tick on those 6 points. How do we start introducing those events into it? And that's from next week, we'll start doing brunches and things like that, which will be kind of entertainment led, but, you know, cool offerings that people will hopefully really enjoy.
So it's like get it open and figure it out along the way.
I mean, that's like my business model.
Yeah.
Is, you know, well, you can, I've done it before where we've overinvested in a site thinking, oh, it's going to be this or it's going to be that. And actually, you don't get the upside on all these things you want. And then you're like, well, I should have just done it like that. And we would have got all of that we wanted was in the first 35% anyways. We should have just done that. So more recently, when you've projects of huge scale, I've kind of gone, what is it we do? Keep it really simple, you know, get it so people love it, and then build up for it. Once you're starting to get the feedback, because feedback from, especially when you come to an area that you don't know intimately, like it's not a local area that you've drunk in every day for, you know, whatever. There's a piece about letting the area feedback to you and tell you what it wants. Yeah. You know, you can't listen to everyone because people say, well, shit, and this and that, and you have to ignore some of it. But some of it is like, okay, well, we haven't quite got that right. So how do we pivot that to, you know, accommodate what they want? You know, because you want to give people what they want, don't you? You don't want to be just saying this is what we do, like it or lump it, because they won't have it at all. They won't lump it. They won't like it. You know, you can't be that arrogant. So, yeah, to your point, it's like, do it, have a look. Does it work? Okay, yeah, it's working. Do some more of that. But constantly be on the lookout for how do we make it better? How do we make it more of what people want?
Yeah, it's a good way of working, especially if you're open to feedback as well. I mean, it takes a certain personality.
I'm quite lucky. Me and my partners, I guess, you know, we kind of come from bartending background. We're not like industry veterans, although I suppose we probably are now, having gone through the last 12 months and, you know, 15 years before that. But we've always been quite open to the negative feedback as well. I just think you have to be, otherwise everything, you know, I'm doing a little graph obviously, but like, you know, everything is changing, and if you set your stall out as a flat line, you know, you might be ahead of them for a bit, but then once everything's changed and gone past you're behind effectively. So you've got to be accelerating past your competition and stuff like that. And you can only do that if you're paying attention to what other people are doing and what people want, really. So,
do you still have a roadmap of where you want to take the place as a rough sort of guide?
For Luna, yeah. We want to. It's difficult with the restrictions in place because you're basically only able to have probably 600, maybe 700 people. We'll put the mezzanine in and stuff like that in a space that should be able to take 3,000 people. And the economics on 3,000 people versus 700 people are, then it's like a different sport. It's not even the same game. It's so different. But, you know, we don't really know when those restrictions are going to get loosened. You know, we're all here in 21st of June or whatever, but that could be 2023 if who knows, really.
Well, we're one variant away from everything changing again.
Yeah, and that's what I've said to my team, you know, sell it like we're going to get shut down. That's basically what I tell my team all the time.
I can't believe how relaxed you are. Like, if I was a business owner saying all of this stuff, my hair would be gone. Like,
well, look, last March when I described the world ended, you know, I basically had near enough to a mental breakdown. You know, I was like, what on earth are we going to do here? So I wasn't relaxed then. But there becomes this point where you kind of set your course, and things that are outside your control, they are just that. You know, you can't do anything. Right, I can't control Boris, you know, and whatever Michael Gove tells him, I can't control that, you know. So I'm relaxed now because I've got things I can do. I've got things I can achieve, and they will get me on my course back to where we want to be as a business and, you know, what we as a group want to do. And that's a lot easier when you're trading. It's really difficult when you're not trading because you're just burning, like I said before, you're just burning money. But yeah, I mean, I look relaxed, but, you know, I am a bit right now because I've had 4 beers, you know. So.
Yeah. Did you find much help off the government with all the stuff you've had to go through?
So it's an interesting one because context. It's so look, in some ways the government have given more help than I ever imagined. So I say I had this, I lost the plot back in March, and that was in part because I believed no help was going to come. My business partner was very, very sanguine. He was like, something's going to come. But I was like, nothing like this has ever happened. Why would they help us? And he was just much more relaxed about it. I was not. JRS comes in, furlough. And that basically saved all of hospitality. That one thing saved everybody. Every job in hospitality is only there now because of JRS. The grants and stuff like that, for some operators, they've done really well out of that. For some operators, they've done enough. For us, the financial support outside of JRS, well, put it this way, the amount of money I've had to pay to keep people on my payroll is less than the amount of grants I've had. And I've got a rent roll of about £1.6 million as well in a 1 year time. So being a London-centric operator, the support has not been proportional to the costs. But for people who are not, like London, the rent bubble is ridiculous. So, everyone in London has been really badly hit. So, everyone has been really badly hit. But I think from a support to cost, the proportions, in my opinion, is worse. But maybe from us it was very, very difficult. But actually, on balance, I think the grants and supports, they've done quite a lot. It's just not,
They've gave you a kind of platform to kind of so you can go forward, and you haven't just fell straight through it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what the metaphor would be, but if you had a massive bucket and it's just been pouring money out the bottom of the hole, it's kind of like filled in the first 10% back again. Yeah. But you need to be trading to like block the hole in the bucket, don't you? Oh, so yeah. I'd rather have that 10% than nothing, obviously. Yeah. But
you were probably more worried about your staff more than anything, like. 'Cause
as a business owner, you're just worried about everything. That was the biggest one. It's like, if you can't keep hold of staff, then how do you reopen? If you can't reopen, then how do you trade again? And then it's game over. Yeah. That is, to your point, that was the, and that's what I guess why I said before, had it not been for JRS, we would have all been completely, in trouble.
But we're here. On a happy day. On a happy day, where the pubs have reopened, kind of outside. So if somebody came this weekend, I don't know when this is going to go out, but if someone come this weekend, what can they expect from Luna?
Yeah, so they'll come in, they'll be sat at a table, obviously socially distanced as is life now. Hopefully they'll find some drinks on the menu that they like the look of. They'll see some food that they like the look of. They'll enjoy some music that they like.
Going back to the menu, it's very cocktail kind of focused. Is it just kind of like not recycled, but is it influenced by your other places or? Yeah,
so the basis of the cocktail menu is kind of takes a core of what we've been doing elsewhere, and then we've added in new things, kind of the development that kind of, I guess, organically happens when you've got a team of 150 people who make drinks for a living, and I've made this and I love it, and do you want to try that, and those things go in and out of our menu. I guess much like you would have if you went to a restaurant and the chefs bring things to the table. And I suppose with drinks it's a bit different because I think in the kitchen, like my kitchen experience is not massive. I've done a bit, but it tends to come from one person will be, these are the dishes we should do. With ours, everyone's kind of trying to contribute, trying to win to get their drink on the menu and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, cocktails are traditionally where a lot of our volume of turnover comes from, and so we probably 70% elsewhere. I'm not expecting it to be as high here because of the nature of the setting, really. We've set ourselves out as really a beer garden with events and cocktails and street food and bits and pieces, so people aren't coming to us just for cocktails. So
yeah, you're not going to the O2 and ordering cocktails like.
No, but I think the thing I've always wanted, I've lived in Tooting in South London for a long time. I used to go to Brixton Academy all the time, right? So, you go to Brixton Academy or in fact any arena, you go to Birmingham O2 or whatever, and you basically you get your can of beer or whatever, and it's
Did they used to have a red stripe there?
Yeah, really, exactly. Foo Fighters,
Yeah,
Red Stripe. That was like the first time I ever went to that venue, and it's quite limited, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do a good offering, a good F&B offering. I understand why these venues don't, because they are live music venues. We are an F&B venue that will have music. We'll do joint ventures whereby we bring in expert specialists in live music, and they will bolt on top of us. So what you get on a Friday and Saturday, you will get pretty much if you came down for a gig.
Yeah, so there'll be live bands.
Yeah.
Pretty much from the off, or wait till restrictions.
Yeah, so in order to make the economics work, it doesn't look like it's worth doing until the end of the summer.
Yeah.
We have been approached by people about doing socially distanced gigs, but to be honest, I'd rather just... Personally, I don't like the idea of a socially distant gig. It's not... I'm not
like squares on the floor
Yeah,
or something.
to be honest, you're either doing a gig or you're not. And it sounds rubbish to me, and I don't want to do anything that's rubbish. So I'd rather just do what we do with bits of entertainment and all of that sort of stuff in our own kind of arena. But then when the restrictions lift, the plan is to do some quite cool stuff at the end of September with sort of third party. So that which I think will probably get announced in the next week or two. So
we're expecting live music, hopefully.
I'm 98% sure that there will be 9 gigs in September with more than 2,500 people if all the restrictions are lifted.
It's going to be one day. We're talking a festival.
No, we're talking 3 weekends, 3 days, where they will come in. There'll be a massive rig. There'll be proper marketing, proper everything like that. It'll be like you would get, just outdoor, like they've done in the past in that venue.
Yeah, it's been done.
Yeah, so we'll do that, and you'll be able to come, and you'll be able to get our street food and our cocktails and our drinks and all that stuff, and in our setting.
Cinema. So
I don't think we'll run the cinema at the same time, but the plan is from we'll check my dates, but I think it's the 17th of May when the next round of restrictions get lifted. The cinema comes in, and that will be behind. You see today where the food trucks have started coming in. Behind that will be the cinema area. Yeah, so from the 17th of May, we'll open up the cinema, and that will have kind of 100, 120 people in there, which will just be standard cinema thing. But then again, over the summer, we'll build that up as the stage goes in. We'll start adding in things like secret cinema, or not secret cinema, obviously, but our version of that, or orchestral backed, actors and bits and pieces. Just because, like on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, people aren't necessarily just going to come to Digbeth because you've got a beer garden, although it'll still be cool and people will come, but if I want to get 500-600 people in there, I need to add more value to the guest experience.
So is the cinema going to be one of these things, a big screen, and if you go to Luna, wherever you sit, you're going to be seeing this film?
Yeah, but you won't be able to hear it. Well,
how's the hearing? Is that just loudspeakers?
No, I think we'll do it headphones. Then if you're in the main area, you can just sit and have drinks with your mates. You can watch it. I'm sure if people want it, the tickets are like $5 at the moment, so it's not like we're going making loads of money on the tickets. It's just we just want to give people more reasons to come down to the venue, really.
Now, does this work? Since it's not going to be loud, how does it work? Will you just listen off your headphones?
So we give everyone these like Bluetooth wireless headphones.
Like an app off your phone where you just listen to the film.
No. We give everyone. You buy your ticket, we give you your headphones, and you sit down, and we do that in some of our other venues as well.
Oh, nice.
I mean, if we were to do, or when we do the more like instrumental piece, then it'll be the whole venue. It's not going to be listen to that. Yeah, I've got my drums plugged in, but you have to listen to. What? I don't understand. Oh, I can hear the Killers and I can hear the guy playing the Jaws theme tune. It's really perplexing. No, we'll go all in on that sort of stuff. But it's again, we're just gonna learn the venue and work out what works really.
And you got a couple of street food vendors right there now. 2 at the minute.
Yeah, we tried to get more in for the opening, but the local politics has dictated that certain food operators were not available to us to open. So we've only got pizza, we've got Mother Clucker, we've got burgers at the moment as well. But yeah, we're hoping that over the next couple of weeks that will just expand out.
Was that always the plan, or was it to do it yourself, or was that never the plan?
No, I've always felt like trying to put together more reasons for people to visit. Social dining, street food is done very well in this area already by other people, and trying to do what they do, there's no point because they already do it really well. But if you want to create a good space with that kind of scale, it makes sense to bring other local people on board as well, because they have their own following and they understand the market, and we can learn a lot from them. And frankly, it's more fun. It's just better working with other people. It's really exciting working with other operators, as long as they kind of play nice and we play nice and all that sort of stuff. But I just think there's so many. When that venue is at full capacity, there's so much to go around. Why would you not okay, well, they do that. Oh, they do that cool ice cream concept that we would never be able to do. Why would we not get them in? Because that's cool. And the guests will love it. And if they love it, then they'll come back and they're having and they're doing really well and all that sort of stuff. So I always just imagine that because of the scale of it, there would be other vendors involved, really.
Where did the name come from, Lunar Springs?
So you sat there, whenever we do a concept, it's like, okay, what's the history? What's the history of the area? And just start from there. And being an outsider, trying to understand my market really well.
Did you know much about Digbeth coming from London?
So you don't. When you first find out, it's like, what's Digbeth? And they're like, but it's funny. I'll say to people, "Oh yeah, we're doing this thing in Digbeth," and if they're from Birmingham, they're like, "I know Digbeth. It's fine. You don't need to tell me all that stuff." Coming from London, everyone's like, "Oh, it's like Shoreditch was 6 or 7 years ago," and you're like, "You're not exactly selling it to me here, But then you come down, and you're like, "Oh, this place is fucking cool," and so no, like 3 years ago when I was first coming to Birmingham, I had no idea it was here. I was like, go into the main bit, go around Temple Street and all that sort of stuff, like all the kind of tourists, and you come for the cricket or you come for the football, and you're like, okay, fine. Yeah, and so coming for the last couple of years, and we would just come down because we'd heard of the operators that were coming in here, and we'd just been hearing that there's this really nice drinking vibe that's sort of growing out of the area, and we would come down, we'd do our bit up in the main centre, and we'd come down and we'd see bits popping up. I know the guys from Mission Mars who've got the place next to us, and we met the guys from MJR who've got the mill, running the mill, and we know Roxy's, and we know kind of Birdies, and some of those guys used to work at TGI's, and I worked for TGI's years ago, and so you kind of know various operators, and they're all like, oh yeah, it's really cool, and it's like really, really exciting. So yeah, we just kind of, it been on, like I said earlier, been on the radar without. I was always a bit like, well, some of our brands are didn't feel like the right fit for, like I couldn't do a Tonight Josephine in Digbeth. No. And we have a brand like Blame Glory, and I was like, that's not really right either. It's just so you're kind of like, well, the place is great, the space is great, the area is great, got to do something different. And so we then started, like I say, getting into the history of it all, and the kind of the whole Lunar Society thing was like, I was like, that's really cool. I've always loved all that sort of stuff. I've always been fascinated by kind of Victorian Britain and all of the kind of intellectuals and the crazy ideas. I've got a site in Covent Garden called The Escapologist, and that was this fictional character we made up, who was this Baron von Tuke. We just made up this backstory for him because I just love that whole area, and as soon as I saw there was all this kind of Victorian history, which is obvious when and beyond sort of around it all, I was just like, oh my god, this is all the stars are aligning. This sounds great. And so we kind of did a bit more digging, found out about this Lunar Society, and then it kind of just evolves from there. Really, you get people on board who understand it all, and then just spitball crazy ideas, and then it's like, oh, that sounds cool, let's do that. That's it. It's as simple as that, really.
Cool. Yeah, I love the name. I think it's brilliant.
I'm glad. I mean, there's you sat there with 6, and you're like, whenever you're naming a venue, there's always one or two, and the first time you read through, you're like, I think it's that one, but I'm not sure. And then you have to go away and come back, and the right name, when you pick it right, it's just like, and I have to like not tell anyone what my choice is for a while. I have to go away and come back, and I go, this is the name, and then either people love it or they don't.
Do people get any input or
No, I mean the people who come up with the name, like the list of names, and the people we work on the creative side, they give me like, all right, it's this choice, this choice, this choice, this choice, and I just go, okay, it's that one. And then my partners don't get a look in, and I literally go, this is what we're building, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Steve Jobs, he used to get everyone to give a list, and then he'd just completely ignore it and get his own.
Yeah, it's like, tell me what you think is right, but it doesn't matter because we can do what I think is right anyways, type thing, isn't it?
Well, cool. I think
It works.
yeah.
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's early days, isn't it? We'll see.
Touch wood. We're wishing you all the best anyway. I really hope it works out. When does it open? Is it just
So we kind of soft opened
Monday to Friday?
So sort of soft opened this
Monday
week.
to Friday. What bar opens Monday to Friday?
I said yes.
We don't
so,
Monday, like 7 days a week, or
yeah, look, I think the kind of what we call our core business will trade Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then cinema bits, and we'll bolt on things to bring people down there. But this week we're open all week, and we're just going to play it by ear. And
you have to be open all this week.
yeah, exactly.
You definitely have to be.
And then I think as well, when the weather really kicks in and it's everyone's just sweltering, then probably all week.
Well, that spot really catches the sun well as
Yeah.
well. It gets it all
I've got red
day.
nose just from sitting in the sun all day today, and it's been 5 degrees. It's
What time does it be open to? Is it a late night spot or?
to midnight. Just before
Yeah,
midnight.
it's good.
Yeah, it's decent. Yeah.
Good time. Awesome. Thanks very much, Tom.
Oh, thank you.
Really
for
appreciate
having
you
me,
taking the time to do this.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Nice, mate.
Cool.